Well, you're just being a bit dramatic now, aren't you? What? I've been building up to this review for a hot minute now, okay? Just let me have this. Alright, fine, have your fun. Thank you. Yeah, no, you took all the fun out. Thank you.
Don't you have a review to get to anyway?
Alright, let's review Breaking Bad. Breaking Bad is the story of Walter White, who is a high school chemistry teacher diagnosed with inoperable lung cancer, who teams up with an old student of his so that they can make methamphetamine together so that Walt can save up money to leave for his family once he dies. So, Breaking Bad. I honestly am having a hard time trying to decide how to accurately talk about this show, because each season really is different than the next one and the previous season. So I'm just gonna try to do the best I can to accurately talk about each season, or just the show as a whole. So bear with me. I'm gonna start off with the positives of the show as a whole, first of all, which is one that just immediately stands out is the performances from everyone across the board. From Bryan Cranston as Walter White, Aaron Paul as Jesse Pinkman, Anna Gunn as Skyler. Then you have Hank, Marie, Walter Jr., Skinny Pete, Badger, Tuco, Gus Fring, Mike, Saul. Like, all of these characters are just so well realized and so well acted. Some of them better than others, absolutely. Some of them we don't see as their performances really shine until, you know, in Better Call Saul, like with Mike and Saul. The performances all around are just fantastic because you have got these character arcs from each character, like from the beginning of the show to the end of the show, and they're all 100% different people from premiere to finale. I think the best example of proof for that is Bryan Cranston, because before Breaking Bad, who knew who Bryan Cranston was? If you were like a super fan of Malcolm in the Middle, maybe. If you saw like a couple of episodes of X-Files, which I think he was in some episodes of X-Files, yeah, sure, he was that guy in X-Files. But now people are like, oh, yeah, Bryan Cranston. This dude acts his ass off through the entire series, and there are moments where he will have like your heart just jumping into your throat. And so will Aaron Paul as Jesse. Like, Jesse is my favorite character of the show, even more than Walt, because Jesse just goes from this like streetwise punk ass kid to like somebody you wouldn't even recognize. Like, if you were to jump from season 1 to season 5, you're like, no, that's the same actor playing a different character. That's not Jesse. Some memorable parts when it comes to like fantastic performances, like with Walter White. There's the monologue that he gives while he's holding the talking pillow in season 1, or in season 2 whenever something's going on with Jesse. No spoilers, but no, there's this thing going on with Jesse, and Walter White is like trying for a long time to like get him to do what Walt knows he has to do, and he gets some great performances out of that. And so does Aaron Paul. Like, during season 2, like Aaron Paul does some good acting in season 1. In season 2, that's when you're like, oh, so this is why they didn't kill him off in the middle of season 1 like they were originally wanting to. I think my favorite scene from Jesse is in the 5th season. No spoilers, but he realizes that something has been stolen from him, and his reaction to this is like the look on Jesse's face throughout this sequence is just like, Aaron Paul just looks just like a rabid dog. okay? Because, oh my God. Just so you know, this really all is just going to be me gushing about Breaking Bad. So like, I'm letting you know now, that's what this is. I do have some problems with the show. I actually do, and we will get into those, but let me gush for a minute. And just like I said with Better Call Saul, the cinematography in this show, okay? Like every single different director that they brought in for any episode just came up with some of the wildest stuff. Like in the episode Fly, which is actually a very controversial episode, and I think that's so stupid. I'm actually not even gonna get into Fly. You can look into the Fly episode on your own. But like in that episode, like at one point, like Jesse is like scrubbing this thing, and it looks like they just like attached a GoPro to the brush, and it's like, why did they do that? I don't know, but it looks cool. And then just the Albuquerque desert, like it just looks like a wonderland, okay? And like I said, in Better Call Saul, I don't know if it actually looks like that or if Vince Gilligan is just able to make it look like that. It probably actually looks like that, but you know, you need a talented eye behind the camera to be able to get these shots. And these shots in the Albuquerque desert just look amazing. There's also the aspect of the show that when it comes, and this, like, I just now thought of this might not make any sense, but usually when it comes to like crime dramas or crime thrillers, it's like you're looking at it from the perspective of the police. But in this, it is from the perspective of the criminal. And I think that that is just such an interesting take on it that not enough shows deal with. Because one thing I've heard a lot of people like moan about the show is, oh, it promotes, you know, meth use. No, it doesn't. Like, just look at the episode Peekaboo, okay, and try to tell me that it promotes meth use. Okay, once you go into Spooge's house, yes, there's a character named Spooge, but once you go into his house, no, there is no promoting of methamphetamine use in this show. And it just, you know, it really helps you see, especially episodes like that, where these people like Walt and Jesse, they really have to disassociate themselves from what they're doing because they know that they are ruining people's lives, but they do it anyway. And that's another really interesting thing about the show is you can really argue that nobody in the show is a good person because you have Jesse, who really, he does some awful things throughout the show, and he becomes such a broken person by the end of the show, and it's so heartbreaking. And then you have Walt, who's like, I'm doing this for my family, but what he's doing is awful and super illegal and immoral. Like in the first season, he does stuff that's like, you're going to hell for that, okay? And then you have Hank, who, yes, he is a law enforcement, you know, officer, but he does some stuff too that's like, that's crossing a line. That's not okay. Like all of the main players of the show, you can argue that none of them are good guys, but you can also argue that all of them are good guys because of the motivations behind what they're doing. I feel like I'm not giving Hank enough love, so I'm gonna give Hank some love real quick. Okay, Dean Norris, Hank, he starts off the show as like just this jock douchebag, right? Like you're introduced to Hank by him like showing off his gun to his teenage nephew. He's like, yeah, look at that, isn't that awesome? And then whenever he takes Walt on the ride along, like he's making some like really racist remarks, but then stuff happens to Hank and like he ends up getting like PTSD and like starts to really like break down mentally, emotionally, and physically. Dean Norris plays him so well because Hank is a really easy character to hate until you realize what all he is actually going through, like the PTSD. But now, before I just continue rambling for, you know, an hour, about Breaking Bad and what I love about it, I do actually have just a couple of things that I feel doesn't make any sense or is wrong with Breaking Bad. And I feel bad for saying that, but first is, bear with me when I ask this, how does Walt know how to make such perfect meth? Because, you know, their whole thing throughout the show is that Walt's meth, Heisenberg's meth, is like 96% pure. Okay, cool. And people have argued with me. They're like, oh, well, he's a genius chemist. Of course he's able to make it like, you know, almost 100% pure. Well, first of all, what does pure mean? It's meth. I grew up my whole life thinking that meth was just a mixture of battery acid and rat poison. Okay, I'm gonna jump into another positive real quick, and that is the meth cooking sequences. Oh my god, they're so stylized with the music behind them and the camera movements, and it's like a music video where all they do is make meth. Okay, I'm done, let's get back to the negative. But like, yeah, he's a genius chemist, but that doesn't just mean you know how to make meth. And if you say that Jesse taught him, well, Jesse's meth was apparently garbage. So if Jesse taught him, then he would know how to make it Jesse's way. He wouldn't know how to make it pure. He would know how to make it with the chili pepper in it. And I realize that might be a really stupid thing to be bothered by, but it really is like the main thing that bothers me every time I watch the show is how does he know how to make it like this perfect meth? And what is pure meth? How is it pure? What does that mean? I don't understand. Another thing that bugs me a little bit is from the end of season 4 to the beginning of season 5. At the end of season 4, like, you know, this conflict is wrapped up and season 5 begins, like, you know, this new thing, and season 5 is the final season. Well, through all of season 4, or at least most of season 4, Walt is like freaking out about this conflict. Like, he's in a constant state of panic almost. But then as soon as this conflict is wrapped up and season 5 starts, Walt is just like cool, calm, and collected about everything, and it's just like this purely like self-driven, self-centered, damn near sociopath. And it just seems like such an abrupt jump because, like, yeah, he beat the conflict of season 4, but like, I don't know, it just seems really abrupt and sudden. Like, you know, Walter goes from panic mode to I am God. And yeah, that's it. In all 5 seasons of the show, that's it. Just those 2 things. Guys, Breaking Bad is seriously my #1 favorite show of all time. I don't even know what else to say about it. Like, if you enjoy crime dramas, if you enjoy dramas in general, then Breaking Bad will be for you. Now, I can understand there will be people out there who have a hard time connecting with it because, you know, the protagonists are criminals, and I do understand that. But unless you just have this predisposition to not be able to connect with people who are, you know, criminals or technically villains, then just watch Breaking Bad. Seriously, like, I don't know why nobody would watch it at this point. It's been over for 6 years now. You have no excuse. It's full of amazing performances, incredible writing, great directing, cinematography, and camera work. Just characters that you care so much about, and like, as the show goes on, you feel like you are 100% emotionally invested in these characters despite any of the bad things they've done, and whenever they face the consequences of these bad things, you truly like feel bad that they have to go through this, and it is such an emotionally gripping crime drama that guys, I love this show so much, which is why it should be no shocker whatsoever when I say that when it comes to Breaking Bad seasons 1 through 5, you should binge it. Guys, I feel like I've used that grade too much for shows. Like, I feel like it lacks a punch to it whenever I say that you should binge Breaking Bad. Because that's supposed to be like the A+ for television shows. And I've given it to almost every show that I've reviewed. Maybe I should like try to do something about that. Anyway, guys, thank you so much for watching. Have you seen Breaking Bad? If you have, let me know down in the comments what you thought about it. If you haven't, tell me why not, because that is a question that needs to be answered and rectified now. If you have watched it, what is your favorite season? Let me know that too. My personal season, I think I said it before, is actually season 4. That is my favorite season, front to back. It is full of just perfect episodes in repetition. I love season 4. It is my favorite. Don't forget to check out my social media like Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. The links to all of that will be down in the description. But before you go there, don't forget to hit the like and the subscribe so that I can see you guys next time.